When fear shows up, it's a warning sign, not a stop sign. It's literally there to tell you you are about to play bigger than you've ever played in your life. You're about to do something that is going to stretch every part of who you are, right? Fear is a very real emotion. If anybody tells you that you can eradicate fear, they're lying to you. You cannot eradicate the emotion fear. However, you can minimize it, reduce it, and control it. Fear is like fog. It's very real. You can see it. It looks thick. But when you step up to it, it must move out of your way. And on the other side of what looks very thick are results. Like, think about fog. I don't care how thick of a cloud it is. When you drive up to it, it's going to move. It has no option. And so when you step up to your fear and say, I'm going to take action because on the other side of this, people are counting on me, fear must move.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.
Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. I'm super excited, man. I'm pumped up. This past week, we had the sun out. We went to the river walk. We had lunch on the river here in San Antonio, and it was just a beautiful day to see thousands and thousands of people walking about. And it just reminded me of how sometimes we have so much in our lives, but we're not grateful for that. And I can tell you our river walk had been quiet for many, many months because of 2020. And the beauty about it was this past Saturday, my heart was joyful just seeing the kids run around, play in the water. And it was just amazing. And I say that to you because I want to ask you, what are you taking for granted in your life that maybe you shouldn't be, or you don't even realize you're doing it? So that's my thought to start off this amazing podcast episode today. I'm excited because this guy, man, he's full of gratitude. He's full of just being grateful, right? And I had the pleasure of meeting him. Awesome business owner. He really challenged me in just some of the questions that he brings up to me. I've had time to spend and moderate and run some rooms with him on Clubhouse. And I want to welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, Mr. Ira Davis, the Dream Diver. How you doing, my brother?
What's going on, Daniel, man? Listen, Inspires, you just need to go ahead and legally change your last name to Inspires, bro. I love you to death, guy. Glad you had me on the show, man.
Hey, man, well, I know who you are, dude. I know you're this epic, amazing gentleman, but let the audience of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show know, who is Ira Davis? Introduce yourself, please, my brother.
Man, I love to, man. Yeah, my name is Ira Davis. I go by the title, The Chief Dream Diver, and I'll explain what that is. It's not a fancy thing that we put on, our door or our desk, but it's literally the assignment that I was given by the King of Kings, and to go on a crusade to help people who are stuck and unfulfilled, who are tired of chasing paychecks, promotions, awards, and accolades, who are like, listen, I was born to do something bigger, more purposeful, and legendary with my life to impact the world. And so what I literally get to do, Daniel, is I specialize in 4 really distinct areas. Number 1 is I help people destroy fear in their comfort zones, like not fearless, but fearless, right? And being able to do the things that they were called to do. Number 2 is I help people develop bold faith, the kind of faith that it takes to do incredible things, audacious things. Number 3 is I help people discover and live their purpose, the one thing that they were called and created to do. And then number 4, finally, is I help them unlock and dive for a God-sized dream bigger than them so that they can create a purpose-driven business, brand, or organization that's one in a million, that will shift culture, shape humanity, and serve miracles, man. And then I get to dive out of planes with people, man. I'm a crazy kind of guy, and I help my clients do the same thing. So,
boom, baby, there you go. That was a powerful introduction right there. This is the time of our show where we say, get out your pen and paper, because I tell you what, I was going to drop some wisdom right now. You got to get, as a matter of fact, I would get out 2 pieces of paper today because he's going to drop double the wisdom. And something magical happens. Don't forget, when you write down what you hear, you put pen to paper, it retains in your subconscious mind. You retain it a lot more. So take notes as we go through this amazing episode. And remember, taking notes is for you, not for me. So I want you to do this because Ira's going to really bring the value today. Ira, man, get started, dude. You already got me pumped up. What in the heck? What in the world wanted you to become an entrepreneur or business owner? How did this all come about, man? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, no. So this was never by choice, right? This was never by choice for me. I literally got kicked out of the Marine Corps. I got forced out of the Marine Corps. I was a Marine Corps drone instructor, Daniel. So I made Marines, right? I took the recruits and I turned them into the few and the proud. And while I was on that duty, bro, I got a little too zealous, got a little too excited, and I started taking things overboard. So I got kicked off of that duty, and I had to go back to the regular fleet Marine Corps. And I had 3 years to rebound my career, Daniel. And I won every award you can think of, got all these great paperwork. But when it came time for promotion, the Marine Corps was like, hey, bro, the war in Iraq is over. Congress said we have to cut Marines to save budget, and we're getting rid of any Marines who have any negative paperwork. Doesn't matter if it was 7 minutes ago or 7 years ago. When it comes time for promotion, you're getting cut. And sure enough, June 2014, I got a notice from headquarters Marine Corps that makes the decisions. They said, listen, we're giving you 3 months to pack your bags. August 2014, you got to roll out. And bro, my heart sank, like everything sank to the pit of my stomach, right? I was a father. I had 2 small kids. I had no savings. My education wasn't finished. I had nothing. And I was in the Marine Corps literally hiding from life because they were willing to pay me to be stuck and lost and unfulfilled. And so I kind of went through that whole process, and I don't know if you want me to go there, but.
Wow. Say that again. Somebody needs to hear that. Somebody right now, you're hiding in your career. You're hiding in your job. Did you hear what Ira just said? You're hiding in your job. Your identity is in that job title that you have. And like Ira said, he manned up. He said, you know what? I was stuck. How many of you right now are stuck in your job? You're stuck in your career. And the worst about it is you're hiding behind that position you're holding. Man, dude, That was powerful what you just said. Yeah, man, go on. I think this is going to definitely drop some value. So please tell us.
Yeah. And that's the truth, man. Listen, I always knew that I loved to lead and inspire, but when I joined the Marine Corps, I figured out that wasn't the job description. That was the hallmark of a Marine. That was the DNA. So I was 80% miserable, 20% fulfilled, right? And literally when this happened, I was upset for a period of time, and then I was relieved because I was upset because my camouflage was being pulled from underneath of me, no pun intended. But then I was relieved because I knew that God was giving me an exit. He was allowing me to exit the matrix, because if he didn't, I would have stayed stuck and miserable for 20 years just to retire because I knew nothing else. And so literally depression set in, right? I was a father. I spent all my life, Daniel, feeling like I was purpose lost. Like I had no clue who I was and what I was born to do. So now being pulled away from the Marine Corps, which was a very prestigious job, right? You tell somebody you're a Marine, they do a double take, right? And so I was hiding behind that prestige. And I don't know who's listening to this today, but you're literally hiding behind the prestige of your job title, your company name, your income, your revenue, your vacations. You're hiding behind that, knowing full well when you go home at night, you're miserable and you wish that you didn't have to wake up on Monday. So I was hiding behind that.
So let me ask you this. How hard was it, like on the real, right? How hard was it for you to open your eyes and face that reality, man? Because I can tell you when reality hit me in the face, exactly what you're saying, but mine was a different story. I cried, right? Mm-hmm. What was like when that hit you in the face? What did you learn about yourself that moment, or how did you react to that?
Yeah, no, the reaction was just depression, right? I went from being miserable, stuck where I was, to being even more miserable, knowing that I no longer had a safety net that would hold me up in my misery. And so, I didn't speak to my wife a lot about it. I didn't speak to friends a lot. I internalized it, man. And it started tearing me up. And so what I had to do is I went to therapy. I went to go see a therapist, right? Because I'm like, if I don't deal with this, I am going to implode and then explode and then have really nothing to give to my family. So I went to go see a therapist, man, on base. And I sat in that therapist in his office and on his couch, and we talked for about 4 or 5 days. And I said, listen, Doc, I need you to help me. I'm a grown man with a wife and 2 kids. I got 3 months to get out of the Marine Corps. I have no idea who I am, what I was called to do. But in my heart, always from a young child, I felt like I was born to do something great. I said, but Doc, when I look at my life, I see average and below average. I said, and I also know that I can't leave the Marine Corps and just be another number in somebody else's organization. Can you help me? And so we talked for about 4 or 5 days, Daniel. And at the end of those 4 or 5 days, he came to me. He said this. He said, Sergeant Davis, I've listened to you talk about your life. And he said, it's in my personal and professional opinion that you were put on this earth to inspire people down to their bones to go after their dreams. He's like, I don't know what that looks like for you, whether it's writing a book or speaking, but I challenge you to go on a journey to figure that out. So I left his office that day. I went outside in the parking lot, sat in my car, and I cried and I prayed. And I said, Lord, the epiphany light bulbs are starting to go off in my life for the first time ever. And I don't know about the listeners or the watchers who are tuning into this today, but I can tell you, and I tease all the time, my 10-year-old and my 12-year-old son have more awards and accolades now than I've had in my whole life. That's how untalented I was growing up. And for the first time, God began to reveal to me who I was in that moment. He just began to rattle off things like, listen, you're a pioneer, you're a visionary, you're a transformational leader, you're a phenomenal communicator, you're creative.
So let me ask you this. At that point that you were in your car, you're crying out.
Yeah.
At this moment in your life, are you a believer? You're a non-believer? Who is Ira Davis spiritually at this time? Is he going to church, or he just kind of, because God was chasing me for many years, man. And I'll be honest with you. I got saved in 26, really when my dad got diagnosed with cancer. But then, it's up to that point, it trickled in. But so who were you at that moment sitting in the car?
Yeah, man, I was definitely saved, man. I grew up in the church. My father was a pastor, preacher, minister. So I grew up in the church. But at that point, I was at my lowest of my low. And, from the time I got forced out of being a drill instructor all the way up until I got forced out of the Marine Corps 3 years later, I was developing my own personal relationship with God. Before that, I had the hand-me-down version of God, the God that I knew about because I was in church. Right. Yes. But from the time I got forced out of being a drill instructor to the time I got forced out of the Marine Corps, which was a 3-year time period, I began to know who God was for myself. And all of us go through that period where we know of God, we are associated with God, we speak about God, but then there's something that happens in your life where you get to know God. Right.
Yes.
And so for me, that was a time period in my life where I was beginning to develop a personal relationship with God. And he just spoke to me, man, as clear as we're talking today. He said, man, you've been looking for the tangible expressions of your greatness your whole life, things that people can give you a certificate for, a gold star for, a trophy for. He said, but it's the intangible things that I want to reveal to you in this moment that you will use for the rest of your life to change people's lives, man. And so that's how I started in this purpose-driven entrepreneurship space that I'm in right now, man.
And how did the name? Okay, so I love that, right? So Dream Diver came because you were because of the Marine Corps, and thank you for serving our country, man. I just want to say thank you. Give a shout out right now to all the Marines out there, all the armed forces. From Daniel Gomez Inspires here, our show. Thank you for your service, and Ira Davis, thank you for your service, my brother. I appreciate it. So, did Dream Diver come from that?
Absolutely not. It did not come from that. And shout out to all the Marines, because half of the Marine Corps is from Texas, literally. 1 in 3 Marines are from Texas. So Texas is a breeding ground for Marines. I don't know what's in the water over there, but no, it didn't come from that. So listen, in that 3-month time period, right, when I was getting forced out of the Marine Corps, my local leaders, my battalion commander, sergeant major said, hey, listen, headquarters of the Marine Corps is looking at your paperwork. They don't know the man. We know the man. You're the greatest Marine NCO that we've ever led in our 30 years combined service. Can you, before you roll out of here in 3 months, can you put together this corporal's course, which is the first level of leader in the Marine Corps? Can you put together this course from scratch where you teach these young Marines how to be great and phenomenal leaders? So on one hand, I'm getting the boot. On the other hand, I'm getting the Heisman Trophy, Daniel, and I'm right there in the middle, right? You made a mistake. Get out of here. You're so great. Can you help us, right? And so there I am in the middle, and I'm putting together this course to teach these Marines. It's like a 2-month course. So I'm up at like 2 a.m. in the morning in my office. It's pitch black. Everybody's asleep, Daniel. And I'm on YouTube trying to find something to inspire these young Marines in the class the next day. And I type in like motivation or whatever, and some motivational videos pop up. At this point, it was 2014. I had no clue what personal development was. I had no clue. So some of the greats pop up, right? Eric Thomas, Les Brown, John Maxwell. And I'm watching. I'm like, what is this, Daniel? Like, where's this been my whole life? Right. And then the skydiving video comes on. And I'm like, YouTube, what kind of algorithm is this? Like, why would you recommend this after this? I said, but you know what? I'll play your game, YouTube. I'll play your game. And so I sat there and I watched this skydiving video. And Daniel, I'm telling you, I got short of breath, like I was in the air with these guys. And so I recognized that I was having a spiritual and divine encounter. So I pulled back from my desk and I said, Lord, what are you saying to me? And he said this. This was the most profound thing that I've ever heard God say to me. He said, you see skydiving, but I want you to call it dream diving. I said, Lord, what is that? He said, a dream diver is a purpose-driven individual that's willing to walk away from their comfort zones to aim their entire lives at their God-sized and God-given dreams to impact the world. He said, most people will never hit the assignment for their life because you can't hit a target that you don't see and a target that you don't have. He said, we got the mountain climber memes and analogies running all over social media where you say you can't take the elevator to success. You got to take the stairs or the mountain. He said, the problem is that you can't see the dream or the vision that's on top of the mountain. How will you ever get there? And then when you get tired, you can sit down or walk back down. He said, then you have the jumpers who think that because they were called to something, they can just run and jump into it and expect me to catch them on the way down. He said, but where you go feet first, right, you committing purpose and dream suicide. He said, this is not the way it works. I don't just call you and you just go run and I'm supposed to catch you. That's not how this works. He said, then you got the leapers who want to take a leap of faith. They just want to leap in, see if it works. But if it doesn't, they'll leap back to their comfort zone. He said, I'm looking for some dream divers, some people who will get their feet off of the ground, go to 13,000 feet, dive headfirst into the assignment that I've shown them in their head and in their heart, who are willing to burn the boats, right? Leaving no safety nets, no comfort zones, and who are willing to do the impossible, which inside of the word impossible is the I am that I am. People who are willing to do something so big that it requires me to step in or it won't happen. And he said, this is the assignment for your life, to create dream divers everywhere you go with everything that you touch. And then he hit me with this, Daniel. He said, by the way, you will become a skydiver. And I was like, man, not happening. I promise you, not happen. And to this day, I'm terrified of heights. I won't even dive off of my desk, and it's only about 3 feet. But listen, I'll tell you right now, as we stand here today, 2021, I'm in the middle of my Class A skydiving certification. Literally just this weekend, diving out of planes 2 and 3 times a day. On Sunday, I had church at 13,000 feet. That's the closest you'll ever get to heaven, right? But
man, I'm loving this, right? Because what you're saying is you took the time. This is what I get from what Ira said, ladies and gentlemen. And somebody needs to do this. You need to humble yourself and slow down. You need to go sit in your car so you can receive. And you've been busy and busy and busy doing things your own way in life. You've been going at it the way you want to do it. No matter if you're a realtor out there, if you're an automotive out there person that's out there, if you're an entrepreneur that's struggling, you've been trying to do it yourself for the past year to 2 years, and you're struggling, you're unhappy, you're miserable by the words of what Ira said, right? He's being totally honest, totally open-hearted. Thank you for being authentic. But the breakthrough came when he stopped being busy of doing nothing and being miserable. And he allowed himself to get the download from the Father. He allowed himself to listen. And so many times, Ira, we're so used to just being busy and talking and doing nothing, right? Just doing insanity, going in circles. But your breakthrough came when you took the time to just sit down and just receive. And someone out there listening to this episode today, you just need to sit down. Maybe it's at the park. Maybe it's in your car like Ira did. Maybe it's at the river or wherever you are in this world. And sit down and just listen, because so many times we ask for advice, and we don't get the advice that we want. We go to somebody else. We keep talking and asking for advice. When if you would just sit in silence and give yourself the opportunity to receive the download of wisdom that the Father wants to give you, you would know exactly what your next assignment would be, or what the next strategy would be, or what the next business idea would be. That's what I was saying. And in that, God challenged him, right? So many times we get challenged by this idea, and I'm never going to skydive. I would be with Ira all the way. I wouldn't do it either. But the thing is this, you got to get out of your comfort zone, and you got to stop trusting in yourself, and you got to trust in somebody bigger than who you are. And for me, I'm with what Ira did. I trust in God, right? Jesus Christ is my Savior. I'm not ashamed to say it. But because of that, I've been able to fly the way I have these last 4 years, and by His grace. So, man, I love what you're saying, Ira. Man, that's beautiful stuff. So you're freaking out. You're like, hey, no, I'm not going to skydive. Yeah, so then he told you, well, I'm sorry, it's not up to you, son.
Yeah, pretty much. This is what he said, Daniel. He said, listen, here's why you want to become a skydiver. He said, I have too many people teaching, preaching, speaking about analogies that they don't live. And that won't be you.
Whoa. Say that again. Somebody needs to write that down. That's going to be a great quote for this show.
He said, man, I have too many people teaching, speaking, preaching about analogies that they don't live, and that won't be you. He literally said, listen, your pulpit, your stage, your audience will meet you at 13,000 feet every single time. If you do the uncomfortable thing, I'll bring people to you, and then you turn around and bring people back to me.
Wow. Do the uncomfortable thing. There you heard it here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. That's a boom. That's a mic drop right there. So many people. So let me ask you this, Ira, because you've been in business now for many years, and you're very successful. What you do, I hear you speak, man. You have a lot of intellect, and God is definitely using you in business and in life. Why do you think most people don't do that uncomfortable thing?
Yeah, you have to excuse me. I got lawnmower going on outside, but most people don't do the uncomfortable thing is because they are allowing fear of some sort to control their lives. And I was just thinking about this morning, man. The difference between fearless and fearless. The difference between fearless and fearless. Listen, I don't die by the planes, take my clients to die by the planes because I'm fearless. It's because I fear less. What's the difference? The difference is fearless is this phantom emotion where you think that you will be able to do things without fear in your life. It doesn't happen, doesn't exist. Fear is an emotion that shows up when you're about to do something more audacious than you've ever done. It is a warning sign, not a stop sign. Warning, you're about to do something greater than you've ever tried. Warning, you're about to get stretched to max capacity. Warning, I promise you, if you step over this line, your life will never look like it used to, and you just might emerge as somebody different. It is not a stop sign. It's a warning sign. It's an indicator that says, bro, if you pass this marker, I promise you, you won't recognize yourself ever again. And for most people, they think that if fear shows up, they're doing something wrong. No, if fear shows up, it's the biggest cheerleader telling you that you're headed in the right direction for all the right reasons. And so fear less means is I care less about fear and I tap more into my courage, my confidence, my faith in the results that I was called and born to do for other people. And fear has to take a back seat. It's still there. I have less fear and more confidence, courage, impact, faith, and mindfulness towards the people that are expecting me to show up and to serve in a powerful way. And I think most people are relying on no fear showing up. They're more concerned about other people's opinions. They're more concerned about looking good, feeling good, being safe, being comfortable. And if you're going to do something that's bigger than you, you have to have a no nets mentality, man. And
I love what you said, though. Yeah. So say that again. I want the audience to hear that because you said it, and I want them to catch what you said. When fear shows up, say that again. It's an indicator that you're on the right path. Is that what you said? You said it. I like the way you said it. I want them to hear that.
When fear shows up, it's a warning sign, not a stop sign. It's literally there to tell you you are about to play bigger than you've ever played in your life. You're about to do something that is going to stretch every part of who you are. Right? Fear is a very real emotion. If anybody tells you that you can eradicate fear, they're lying to you. You cannot eradicate the emotion fear. However, you can minimize it, reduce it, and control it. Fear is like fog. It's very real. You can see it. It looks thick. But when you step up to it, it must move out of your way. And on the other side of what looks very thick are results. Like, think about fog. I don't care how thick of a cloud it is. When you drive up to it, it's going to move. It has no option. And so when you step up to your fear and say, I'm going to take action because on the other side of this, people are counting on me, fear must move. It must bend. So fearless. There's no such thing as fearless.
This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and I want to personally invite you out to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy here in San Antonio, Texas on Friday, September the 10th and Saturday, September the 11th. If you want to get paid to speak, if you're an aspiring speaker who wants to share your story, or if you want more paid speaking engagements, we're going to show you how to apply, where to apply, and we're going to give you a professional speaking reel as part of your platinum package. Call me at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. It's time to start living your dream and becoming that paid professional speaker
Our graduates have earned thousands and gotten paid to speak. Be one of them. We'll see you here on September 10th and 11th at the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy in San Antonio, Texas. Call me now at 210-663-5954 to reserve your seat now. Boom, baby. I love that. Think about it. He's dropping some wisdom, ladies and gentlemen. When you have fear show up to your life, he's saying it's a sign that you're on the right path. You're going down the right direction. So many times we see fear and we see it as a negative. So no, what Ira is saying right now, that fear is a positive emotion. It's a great emotion to tell you that, hey, you're going down this road. The GPS is taking you down. It doesn't seem right. But when fear shows up, you think the GPS took you on the wrong turn. And it's like, I got to go back. No, you got to push through the fog. I love that analogy because once you push through the fog, guess what? You can see. Ira, man. Woo! I love it. You got me pumped up over here. Keep talking, man. Keep talking. I'm loving this stuff, man. So,
yeah.
Woo!
Go ahead, Daniel.
I'm just lost for words, man. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I just love what you're talking about today.
Well, listen, and here's the reason why, I take my folks skydiving, man, and we're about to do a live event here in the next couple of weeks. I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm literally, man, we're bringing people all day. We're bringing them out all day, and I'm going to pour into these purpose-driven entrepreneurs and leaders. I'm going to pour into them all day in the areas of their business, faith, growth, fear, etc. And then we're going up to 13,000 feet. We're going to dive out of some planes together for those people who bought the VIP upgrade package. But fear is this thing, man, that can literally keep somebody's dreams and their purpose stuck, stagnant, and dormant. So many people are going to arrive to heaven when they die and will not have completed the assignment for the breath that God put in their body because they were afraid of something or someone. Let's talk about being afraid of other people's opinions. Is that okay, Daniel? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
How many entrepreneurs?
OPOs held me back for a while. So talk about some OPOs, other people's opinions.
Come on, man. How many entrepreneurs, because I know the entrepreneurs listen to the show, how many of us, man, have gotten stuck, stagnant, or just died in the process of valuing other people's opinion more than valuing the opinion of the person who put the dream and purpose in you? Here's what I'll tell you about that is stop letting other people live two lives. What am I saying? Stop letting them live your life and theirs. Because when you allow them to keep you stuck because of their opinion of you, you're allowing them now to control their life and yours.
Yes, I love this. Yeah, you're right. It's funny we're talking about this because we just had this conversation in a room that we had in Clubhouse, and somebody says, well, what is something that somebody tells you that you're being too much of? Or that I'm reflecting. I said, well, they tell me I'm salesy sometimes. And it was Rocky, our friend Rocky. Rocky goes, well, you know what the problem is with that person? It's not with you. They go, when they tell you that you're being too salesy, they're saying in reality, internalizing, they're saying, I wish I had the same certainty. I wish I had the same confidence and belief in my product and my service as you do, that you would come with that boldness and that confidence to ask me to buy what I have. But they don't have that same belief and certainty in the products that they're offering. So in return, instead of them embracing what you're trying to say, their response is, you're just being too salesy, when in reality, they're saying, I don't have that quality of belief in my own products and services. So to make myself feel better, I'm just going to deflect you and I'll throw a little criticize word there. So they start to compare you to a salesy salesperson, which, you know what? No business will survive without revenue. That's just kind of the word that God has me preaching to the business, to entrepreneurs this year is you need sales. And I love the way Rocky just described that, man. So what you're saying right now just kind of triggered me to remember that.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, man, listen, nobody who's ahead of you will come back down to criticize you or to make an opinion of you. The truth is that people who will criticize you or have strong opinions of you are people that you have outgrown. I'm going to say it again. It's the people you have outgrown. Now, don't be mad at the people, especially your friends and family. They didn't change. You changed. Let's be real. I'll say it again. They didn't change. You changed. You messed up the relationship when you decided to grow and become all that you were created and called to be. They're the same old them. You stretched. You've grown. So, of course, they're going to look at you differently because when you went in the Batcave, you were Bruce Wayne. When you came out, you were Batman. You changed, right? But growth is inevitable when you are being called to do something great and audacious. And so this is where you have to start to guard your heart and your mind, because everybody can't go where you're going. Some people, you just have to put an appointment in your calendar that says, I'll call you on birthdays and anniversaries. But Monday through Sunday, you just don't get the ring. You don't get the text. You don't get the DM. But I'll see you at the function on July 4th. And so you have to be comfortable outgrowing your circles or get comfortable dying in your circle. There's no in between.
I love what you said. And I relate with that because I remember when I started my journey almost 4 years ago, I was lonely. I didn't want to gravitate to who I was because I knew that that's not where God wanted me anymore. But I didn't have the Iras in my life yet. I didn't have the Tony Wallies in my life. I didn't have the Michael D. Butlers in my life. So I was literally in that transition period, in that metamorphosis period that the caterpillar goes through. And I was lonely. I was in that cocoon and I cried, man. I think 6 months into it, because I did go back and hang out with some of the guys. But once I was there, God showed me, man, like I wasn't happy. I was miserable, right? But something happens. And I love what you say, because right now somebody's looking at their life. They're doing great, right? They're really doing great. They just don't see it because they're holding themselves back because they're not letting go of their old life. I read something in Danny Johnson's book that really God spoke to me to this, is that there comes a point where you're going to have to turn your back on your old life. And not that you're going to turn your back on your old life in a bad way, but you're going to turn your back on your old life of the things you did, who you were. And as you continue walking forward, you can't turn back to that old life. And when I read that, it really spoke to me, because some of those people that I had to turn away from my old life was what you just said right now, friends and family, because they don't understand what you're going through. They don't have that dream that God put in you. Not to say that God didn't put a dream in them, but I literally cried sometimes, man. So I love what you're saying. And for me, it was really just disengaging myself from them and not being interactive like you're saying. And I still miss them today, right? I still miss them because it's like they were a part of my life for so many years. So 43 years, now I'm 47. You know, you can't compare 43 to 4 years, but talk to that person right now who is where I was. They have a little bit of momentum. They see it, but then they're getting these criticisms where it's from a family member, from somebody that they looked up to or that they respect as a close friend. But those people don't have that same vision for that person than what they do for themselves. So they stop growing. Now they're going to go backwards. And all that beautiful work that they had done, it's going to kind of be from nothing because they're getting ready to give up. Talk to that person right now that needs to stop listening to OPOs, and especially when it's your family and your friends that are throwing those criticized bombs.
Yeah, I love it, man. Here's the truth, and I don't know who's listening today, but you are destined to be here. Here's the God honest truth. Whenever you have a dream that's bigger than you, whenever you have a purpose that's pulling you and calling you to an audacious level, there are two types of people in this world: those who see possibility and those who see reality. When you have a dream that's bigger than you, you must surround yourself with people who see possibility, because those who see reality, not because they don't love you, but because they are comfortable, being comfortable, and safety is a part of their DNA. They will snuff and choke your dream out and your purpose out on accident. They will, like, I want you to think about someone who is drowning and the lifeguard comes to save them. Most of the time, both of those people drown because the person who's trying to be saved is kicking and screaming, and they will literally drown the lifeguard. And sometimes, man, when you have reality people surrounding you, when you have a dream that's in infancy, they will end up choking you out on accident because they're scared for you. They're scared for you, and they're scared for themselves because your growth makes them uncomfortable. We were comfortable when we were on the same level, right? We were comfortable when we were going out on Friday night. I was comfortable with you when we were both the same lazy and both the same average and both the same income level and both the same audacious. But when you started to grow, now your growth has made me uncomfortable, and your growth has started creating a shift in the tectonic plates of our relationship. And whenever you get a shift in those tectonic plates, an earthquake, a tsunami, a tidal wave happens in the relationship. And somebody has to, whenever there's a shifting in the ground, the tectonic plates, somebody's going down and somebody's going up. You're no longer on the same level. And this is natural. You're no longer on the same level. Right. And so I'm talking to you today, letting you know that it's okay to grow. What is not okay to do is die. For those of you who are believers out there, There was a parable that Jesus gave when he was talking about when he cursed the fig tree, right? Because the fig tree was supposed to be producing figs, fruit. It looked alive, but it wasn't producing any fruit. And for some of you, you have to be in a position where there is no in between, right? There are two speeds. It's either growth or death. There's no in between. And so you can't look like you're growing and not produce fruit. And so some of you have to be okay with disconnecting from people who are not helping you grow and who you are not helping to grow, because they will become weight and gravity in a place where you're supposed to be flying and executing. It's okay to grow. Now, here's the thing. Some of us, well, that's been my friend since middle school, since college, since elementary school, and they were in my wedding. Here's the thing. As you become the new version of you, the person that was always in there, there's a new inner circle and outer circle coming to meet you in movement, people you haven't met yet, people who will inspire you to step up, to level up, people who will grow you, people who will encourage you. You are about to attract a new tribe around you. People who understand growth, people who understand scale, people who understand the growth mentality versus a fixed mentality, people who are doing things that will just make you pee on yourself. Those are the people that your dream and your work ethic and your faith is literally attracting to your life. So you have to let go in order to get new ones. But in the meantime, Daniel talked about isolation. If you're a believer, you know that before God used anybody great, first of all, they were unqualified before they became great. Let me make that clear. Before God used any unqualified person that he made great, he took them through a period of isolation. Yes. They had to go through isolation before their greatest assignment. In the isolation is where God will begin to burn things out of you, remove things out of your life. He will test your character. He will perfect your character. He will get you ready. My favorite verse is Ephesians 4:1. It says this: live a life worthy of the calling for which you have been called. What does that mean? It means you will be in perpetual training for new levels. And so when you're in that isolation period, that period between who I was and who I'm becoming, God is not only building a dream through you, but he's building the man or woman in you in that isolation period, so that when your next level comes, when your promotion comes, when your appointment comes, he can bring great people around you like Daniel and like some of these other folks that Daniel's had on their podcast. So if you're in isolation, that means that God is getting you ready for an assignment. Be rooted where you are. Let God water the seed of who you are. Be comfortable being alone, because when you have too much noise in your life, God can't fill your cup. Because you're moving at 100 miles an hour. You got to sit still so God can fill you up, man.
Man, that was, dude, man. Whoa. I love to hear you speak, man. That's why I'm letting you just flow, because you're bringing a lot of value today, Ira. Listen to what he's saying. The mistake that we make so many times in life and business is as an entrepreneur especially, is that we reach one level of success and then we think we're done growing. Oh, listen to what Ira said. You got a 1.0 version, 2.0 version, 3.0 version, 5.0 version, 10.0 version. But every new version of who you are requires preparation. So after you have that amazing victory, after you have that amazing next level up where God takes you to that next level, guess what? After you celebrate for a while, there's going to be another season of preparation where your character has to be just refined even more, because in order to have more, you got to be able to hold more. You got to have the character to sustain it. If not, the very blessing, the very success is going to crumble you under the weight. And God doesn't want you He doesn't want that to happen to you. So just remember right now, if you're going through something like Ira said, God is preparing you. It's called preparation. Embrace the preparation and ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this that I'm going through right now? Because it's preparing you for that next level of excellence. It's preparing you for that next level of success. So, man, that was amazing there, Ira. Let's shift a little bit here. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What makes Ira Davis distinctive? What makes him unique? I know you're a bad boy Marine driver. I love that about you. I never knew that. I like that because you have that tenacity that you want to be the best. You're that leader. But at the core, what makes Ira Davis distinctive and unique?
Yeah, great question. Well, we could talk business and we could talk personal, and really it's all wrapped into each other. It's really simple, man. I love people. I value people. Those who work with me, those who work for me, and those who I work for, meaning the people that God has called me to serve. I value people. above all else. Number two is bold faith. I believe when Jesus said the faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains, I believe that was a minimum requirement, not a maximum requirement. And so bold faith is a character of my DNA. It's a core component of who I am. And excellent execution. Like, I love to obsess over the details to a point, because I know that every single thing that people see represents a level of audaciousness that can move the needle in their life. And so I want to make sure that everything that people see that comes out of my camp, the Dream Diver Company, represents inspiration, transformation, and exhilaration. I want people's soul to be moved every time they see a graphic, an email, a video, whatever. I want them to be like, woo, I just had an experience, right? And so that's kind of how I live my life. I love hard. I love long. I don't believe in one night stands. I believe that if we're a friend, that means we're married. We're making a covenant to do something great together. What makes me me is I give everything that I have to every assignment that I'm given, whether you're paying me $1 million or $1. I'm going to give you the exact same sweating under my armpits, sweating underneath my hat energy, because I don't do this for the money. I do this because I know that God has given me an assignment to create 3 million dream divers globally, people who are living in their purpose and doing things that most people wouldn't do, man. And so that's just me, man. I'm actually an introvert until it's my turn to speak and to pour into people. So I'm a lover, man. I serve, and I tend to do things that most people wouldn't do.
I love that, man. You know what? I love your heart. I want to tell you that because you're real. You know, I know we got on our first phone call maybe about a month ago, and just the first conversation we had, everything that I was saying right here on the show, ladies and gentlemen, he's a real deal. He really has a heart and values people. And I want to just honor you, man. I want to thank you for being you. You're an amazing individual. And I love this format we did today. Really, we didn't even have a format, but hey, we asked God to take over. And, you know, everything that we've said today is what was spoken. So I want to ask you this. Give somebody out there, they're an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Give them just something that's some of your best tips of advice. Take a moment and give them just advice that they can take into their business that's going to really help them, right? Take a moment and just speak into their heart, because I think, you know, what I love about having this show is that we really get to pour value into people and really add value to them. And it's about that. It's about serving. And it took me a long time to realize that, Ira, because I'll be honest, I was very selfish for many years. It was about, I don't know if you've heard, there was I can't think of who it was, but they had, I think it was Joyce Meyer. She had that little robot. What about me? What about me? What about me? That was Daniel, right? I'm just going to be real, right? But now that I've switched the robot, I reprogrammed the robot, and it's about giving back. Talk to that entrepreneur right now that just talk to them about business. Give them a point or two, and let's kind of roll out with that. And then we'll hear how we get a hold of you and what you do, man.
Yeah, that's a great one. A business tip. I got two, if that's okay, Daniel.
Do it. Let's go, man. Okay. It's about you right now.
Yeah, the first one is this. Stop trying to monetize everything before you perfect the miracle that's coming out of your life. What am I saying? Stop trying to monetize before you perfect the miracle that needs to come out of your life. Some of you are doing things just for revenue, and you have no clue the full countenance, the full substance of the miracle that God wants to get out of you and into the end user. And sometimes you need to take a step back, and you need to work the miracle first and allow that to show you how to monetize on the back end. Some of us are creating products and services with dollar bills in mind first, instead of thinking about the miracle that you were called and created to do for other people. And you have all these products and services because you're looking at revenue streams instead of the miracle that you're supposed to put out, and breaking that down into bite-sized pieces that you can add a monetization model to on the back end of the miracle. And I see so many people, I'm going to do a course, or I'm going to do a book, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do this. What is your miracle message? I don't know. I just know that I got to have revenue, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. No, you need to perfect your miracle first. What is your message? For Ira Davis, is discover your purpose, die for your dreams. Once I figure out what my miracle message is, and I've applied it with real people to see real transformation, then I know it works. Then I can break that down into products and services and monetize. And some of you have started with the monetization first, and you're not very clear on what your message. Like when you look up purpose and audacious dreams in the dictionary, the Dream Diver Company should pop up. The black dude who dives out of planes, which most black dudes don't do, dives out of planes and takes his clients to do it and makes films and does all this to coach people in the area of their purpose and dreams, I will come up. Why? Because I spent time perfecting my miracle message before I started smacking a dollar bill amount onto what I do. And some of you need to take a step back so you can take 10 steps forward and focus on your miracle message. When you show up, what is the one thing people think about in the world? If it's everything, wrong. If it's 5 things, wrong. If it's one thing and you're known for that everywhere you go, absolutely. For Daniel, it's Daniel Gomez Inspires. When he opens his mouth, he has a message that will inspire your socks off. For me, it's purpose and dreams. What is your miracle message? Until then, you become a commodity. People can nickel and dime you. They can price shop you. They can say, well, I don't have to take action now because you do the same thing that 80 million other coaches do. But there's only one you, there's only one me. And when you become world-class at who you are supposed to be, and you become so unique, people can no longer pick and nickel and dime you. They will level up because there's only one of you on the planet. So if they want some of what you have, your miracle, then they have to go through the door that you've provided. So my tip is take a step back, perfect your miracle message, and then add monetization strategy to it. So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to say this quick, Daniel. I'm going to give the acronym DREAM, DREAM. Go with me for 1 second. D, do something bigger than yourself. You're an entrepreneur right now, and everything in your life is comfortable, is safe. I need you to do something that's bigger than you. What does that mean? A God-sized dream requires a dream team. If you're doing it on yourself, that means it's an Ira Davis goal or a task. A goal and a God-sized dream are different. God-sized dreams means I got to get some people around me who are greater than me, better than me, smarter than me, have more skills than me, who can help do parts of this dream that I could never even fathom, even if I study for 8,000 hours. Do something bigger than yourself. Number two, in the acronym DREAM is the R, rely on God. I don't care what you believe in or who you are, where you are. If you can do it on your own and it doesn't take divine intervention, you're not dreaming big enough. Like my dream is to create a multi-billion-dollar production company that's an Academy Award-winning documentary production company, a streaming network that will be number one in the world for big dreamers, and of course to create 3 million dream divers. Like, in order to do that, I can't rely on me because I don't have it within me to do it. It has to take God in order for this to happen. Number 3, in the acronym DREAM, DREAM, E, endure the process. What does that mean? If you have a true God-sized dream, it won't happen in 5 days, might not happen in 5 years, but are you committed to doing it for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Like, endure the process. It takes time for greatness to uproot, get roots, to grow upwards and outwards. Endure the process. Dreams have a built-in mechanism to keep the pretenders out. It's called preparation. It's called process. If you can endure the process, you will eventually get to results. But most people quit and give up. That's why only 1% of people in the world will ever accomplish their dream, because of the process. Number 4, the A in DREAM, take massive action. Execution is the difference between a dreamer and a dream diver. Execution is the difference between a dreamer and a dream diver. And last but not least, the M, make your time on earth count. I don't care what you're doing. And all your revenue chasing and all your profit chasing, if it's just about $1 bill, you will have forfeited the greatest gift that was ever given to you outside of salvation, which was breath in your body to live on this earth. Make your time on earth count. Entrepreneurship is not about entrepreneurship. It's about birthing a miracle into the earth and handing it and delivering it to the people who need it. And then they will in turn invest into themselves so that you can live a life where you're not homeless, and so that you can grow, so you can reach more people. That's literally why you're in business, to gift a miracle to people who need it. They will gift you with compensation so you can eat and live and take care of your family, and so you can go out and reach more people. I'm done, Daniel.
Woo, baby, that's a boom right there. That's a mic drop, man. Man, it's been such an amazing episode. One last thing before we end the show, man. How do we get a hold of Ira Davis? Where do we find him, Ira? Where do we find you, man? How do we get a hold of you?
Love it. I'm on all platforms, man. You can find me at dreamdiver.co, just how it sounds, dreamdiver.co on all platforms. That will lead you to my personal page, which is at The Chief Dream Diver on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, whatever. So that's it. And then my website, www.dreamdiver.co.
And one last thing is, when those times of adversity come, when God is preparing you for that next level for Ira, what's a scripture or a quote that you lean on that you can share with us before we close out?
Love it. John 15:16. For you did not choose me, but I chose you to bear fruit that will last and remain.
Say that again. I love that one.
John 15:16. But you did not choose me, but I chose you to bear fruit that will last and remain. So whenever the weight of what I've been called to do gets heavy, I am reminded that I didn't choose this for me. This was his assignment.
Man, wow. What an amazing episode. Thank you so much again, Ira Davis, for being here with us. The Dream Diver out of California. Definitely look him up. Connect with him. We'll put all your stuff in the show notes. And this has been an amazing episode this week. I took a lot of notes myself. And if you're stuck in life, if you're stuck in business, reach out to us. We got the Shield of Faith coaching, and we definitely want to add value to you. If you're stuck in your business, all it takes, why try to go through all the frustrations all by yourself when you can reach out? What's helped me in business is me having coaches myself. So definitely reach out to us at info@danielgomezinspires.com. And if you love the content here, also go to our Facebook group. It's called Shield of Faith Entrepreneurs. That's Shield of Faith Entrepreneurs. Join our community there. And we definitely want you to be a part of our family where we give some business wisdom and we give some inspiration and motivation. There's a little bit of everything, but the main thing is you're part of something bigger than yourself, because we all need help at some point of our lives, and we'd love for you to join our community. So once again, that's a wrap for this week's episode. Daniel Gomez Inspires here. We'll see you next week here on our amazing Podcast of the Year show. God bless you and have an amazing week, everyone.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to danielgomezinspires.com and get your copy today. That's danielgomezinspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.